Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Ringside Rundown podcast. My name is Erik Vasquez, and joining me on the line is my podcasting partner in crime. Yes, that rhymes. She's coming straight from the Berg. She is none other than Shay Hickson. Shay, what's going on, my friend? How was your week?
Not too bad. Can't really complain. Well, I mean, I could because, the Steelers once again forgot what football was. So that was great. But you know what? The Penguins aren't playing so bad. The PWHL's coming back in a few weeks, so I'll get my women's hockey teams back. So I'll take the good with the bad, but
Nice.
could be worse.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm still struggling with this time change, and now that the temperature has gone down drastically, I actually had to turn on my heat. So
Oh, I have not. I literally haven't. If I looked at my thermostat right now, I think it says it's like 68 degrees in here, but
that's
I'm loving it.
comfortable. Yeah, that's
I think
comfortable.
so. I'd rather it be freezing cold than like dying of like overheating. We've talked about it plenty of times before. I'd much rather it be cold. This is my weather. I like the hoodies and the flannels and the fuzzy socks and everything. So this is great.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, this is a podcast about pro wrestling where Shay and I discuss the happenings in the worlds of WWE and AEW and everything of the like when it comes to pro wrestling. We give you a chance to ask us questions and air out your grievances if you have any when it comes to professional wrestling. This is your show, and today we have another jam-packed questions episode. We have questions from our usual and actually a new question coming in from a different platform, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So we get to talk about that. I'm excited to get to today's show.
Yeah, me too. Want to get into it?
All right. What's the order we're gonna do today? How about I'll let you quarterback it.
All right. So definitely from the question you told me off of stream, we might want to save that one maybe for last.
Okay.
Possibly. I don't know.
Okay.
Mike had a really good question for last too, but I feel like that could also be a very good starter for him. Let's start off with Mom's questions and comments. So, all right. So, what are our thoughts on the Nikki Bella heel turn?
Ooh.
Um,
A lot of people saw it coming. Did you see it coming?
kind of, but I mean, it still surprised me a little bit, but also, as we know, I'm not a big fan, or I've never really been a big fan of the Bella twins, so it's always just kind of like, with me. However, I can at least admit that Nikki especially always did her best work when she was a heel, so I'm not mad at it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, yeah, sure, why not? Like they could always use more heels, I guess. And her and Stephanie Vicaire is going to be a good match, I would hope.
Yeah.
So it made sense. Definitely, it took me by surprise a little bit, but her actually being a heel really doesn't surprise me because, like I said, I think she does her best work when she's the bad guys. Right. So I'm not going to really complain about it.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people, some people said it was coming. Some people are caught off guard. I was kind of expecting it, but the way they played it out on Raw was very interesting because I said, during the match between Stephanie Vicaire and Raquel Rodriguez, I said if Roxanne is out there in the corner for Raquel, then it makes sense for Nikki Bella to be out there, which she was. So then they did the whole thing, where after the match, Stephanie is the victor, but she gets jumped from behind by Roxanne Perez, and then Nikki Bella comes in and trashes Roxanne. So you think, oh, it's not really going to happen. Maybe she really is on the side of Stephanie Vicaire, and then lo and behold, she grabs the title and whacks her upside the head. I was definitely caught off guard, but like you said, I think you hit that nail on the head. Nikki Bella does her best work when she's a heel character. So it's going to be interesting to see what the buildup is going to be. But I do think Stephanie Vicaire is good enough that her and Nikki Bella can have a good program. I think Stephanie Vicaire is one of those rare breed of wrestlers that can have a good match with just about anybody. So I find this hard to see this not being a good feud.
I agree with you. I'm hoping that's the case. I'd rather I don't know. I'm hoping they at least take their time a little bit with it, but I
Mm,
also won't be surprised if they kind of go just like 0 to 60 on it.
right.
But yeah, I agree with you though. Stephanie is definitely, if anyone's going to have a good match with Nikki or just anybody in general, it's going to be Stephanie Vickers. So I'm excited to see what these two can come up with. And yeah, but I still don't see that title coming off of Stephanie's waist anytime soon because
No,
it
not that it
shouldn't.
should. Yeah,
But it should still be an enjoyable program nonetheless.
I think so.
Yes, I agree. So another question for our thoughts. What are our thoughts on Cena winning the IC title? Because that has obviously been the one thing dominating wrestling Twitter for
Yeah.
the last 24 hours.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I was, last night was a really interesting night, a very good episode of Monday Night Raw. And Cena rocked the house. Like when
Yeah.
he came out, that place went crazy. He still has star power in the WWE like no one I've ever seen before in my life. So he has that stranglehold, especially they were in his hometown of Boston. The crowd was in a frenzy. They had like 17,000 people sell out Monday Night Raw. It was interesting. Like everybody's been clamoring for that match against he and Dirty Dom, and they were like, it's gonna happen, and lo and behold, we got it on Monday Night Raw, and it was a pretty great match. Cena says that he can't go as well as he used to go, but I find that hard to believe because he looks just as good as he did, 5-10 years ago, so he could probably still go, but now he's carrying the Intercontinental title. So my question is this final match, when it happens on December 13th, is that going to involve the Intercontinental Championship?
I feel like it would have to unless they're going to have him lose it quickly, but I feel like that would be a very stupid idea because I feel like I kind of saw him winning coming, especially when they were all like, "Oh, he's never been a Grand Slam champion before," and it's just like, "Gee, I can't imagine what that means because tell me you're telegraphing it without you're actually telegraphing it." So I wasn't surprised that it happened, but yeah, I'm wondering if maybe that's going to be like the prize at the end of this tournament, but that might make the winner maybe it could be a very iffy choice depending on who they go with
Right.
because I still think they should use it the way that I described it last week where they need to give a newer person like the rub essentially.
Mm.
I don't really see why anybody who's already established or has been established before winning that tournament makes sense because it's just like okay, well you could have just done this program with Cena to begin with. You didn't even really need a like tournament, but we'll see if I'm right about that or not as the tournament comes to a close. But yeah, I mean I feel like they got to give him at least a little bit with the title because if not, then I think people are just going to scream that oh you just did that just to make him a Grand Slam champion and that's it. Like
Yeah.
you can't really take it off him right away. It'd be very stupid to take it off him right away.
Right.
So I really wouldn't be surprised if that's like not only do you get Cena's last match, you also most likely are going to get the IC title because I doubt he's going to take it with him because that'd be very awkward. So you never know.
Yeah. There, like you said, there it would be very awkward if he just decides to retire as champion. Usually they kind of bow out. Like the way it works in wrestling is if when you when you're on your way out, you kind of make somebody on your way out, like you said earlier. So you want to
Yeah.
see if he's going to give somebody else the rub. The tournament so far is shaping up to be very interesting. I thought the two matches on Monday Night Raw were very, very good, very entertaining matches. And then you see the next couple of matches, especially the one that I'm very much looking forward to, Gunther versus NXT's Javon Evans.
Yeah.
I don't see it working well for Javon Evans, but you never know. I think he's really going to wow the crowd. He wowed the crowd when he faced Sami Zayn on SmackDown, but now he's going on Raw, which is on Netflix, which is an even bigger deal. He's
Yeah.
he's definitely going to impress some people. So I think there's bigger stories within the tournament than just it being John Cena's last match.
Yeah. And I feel like it was just kind of it was just kind of funny to me to see the Twitter wrestling fans like absolutely lose their shit when Jay was announced for it
Mm,
because people did not like that decision one bit. I mean, if he's gonna be in there, whatever, it is what it is. You're not gonna really like what are you gonna do? Yell at Triple H enough that you take him out of the tournament? That sounds kind of stupid, and you're gonna
right.
sound stupid doing it. So it's like, he whether you like it or not, he's there. So you kind of just have to suck it up.
Hmm.
But it just again goes to show you that wrestling fans are so fucking fickle. Um,
Yeah.
because they are turning on him and turning on him fast.
Yeah,
Not
they
to
are.
say that it's not I don't want to say not that it's not warranted because that sounds kind of mean, but it's also kind of the truth where I think people are starting to see that perhaps he was a little bit overhyped.
Mm,
I think because we talked about this last week where it was just like, yeah, you love the Yeet and whatever, and it's entertaining, he's got charisma, whatever. And then the bell rings and you're like, oh no,
yeah.
this is not great. So I think people are finally starting to see him for what he actually is, which isn't bad. I'm not it sounds like I'm trashing him and I'm really trying not to. It's not a fact of like, oh well, he's great until the bell rings and he's absolutely fucking terrible. It's like he's not bad. It's just I think they kind of pushed him a little too soon or maybe he was not always meant to be a main event star.
Mm.
Who knows? But that's a whole other can of worms we can open up perhaps later. But yeah, you kind of just have to deal with it. But yeah, Gunther and Javon Evans is going to be fun. Wouldn't you laugh though if he just like pulls off the upset of the century? I think it would be kind of interesting, but
Mm.
not so sure it's going to actually happen. But if they want to make a big moment out of it, then that could be a way to do it.
I
But
think he's going to play the
just me.
part of like the ultimate underdog. I think they're going to
Yeah.
set up the match where he gets overpowered by Gunther in the beginning and then somehow fights back and makes it an even contest. But I don't see Gunther end up losing to Javon Evans. That would be some sort of lopsided victory. Like I like Javon Evans, but
Yeah.
Gunther is Gunther, and especially since he hasn't wrestled since what, SummerSlam? You
Yeah.
know,
It's been a minute.
yeah, he took a little sabbatical, so it's interesting to see if maybe Gunther comes in with like a renewed fire, if he's really going to be working hard, really working sort of like an anxious style because he's coming back. But
Yeah.
I don't see Javon escaping without his chest getting caved in by a couple of chops.
It won't take much. I think
Yeah,
one chop might actually kill him, but
poor kid.
he's he could not have gotten an unluckier opponent on that one.
Yeah.
Like
I'm very
poor guy.
interested to see who Solo Sikoa is facing. They're keeping it a mystery, which was kind
Yeah.
of irritating because why do we need a mystery at this point of the tournament, at this point of the story? But I don't know. I don't have any indication on who I think it could be. It could be anybody at this point.
Yeah, watch it just be Joe Hendry just for the hell of it. Like, I would fucking laugh if it actually was
Wow.
Joe Hendry, and then you have Solo just like standing there like, are you fucking kidding me? This is who I have to like go against. Like, I could just imagine the facial expressions on Solo's face if Joe's music hits.
Wow, I
So,
didn't even think about that, but that could be the case.
maybe I just talked into existence. We'll have to see. I mean, all
Maybe.
Solo said was just said bring it, which really doesn't mean much. It doesn't really give you a hint or anything, but I don't know. Like I said, maybe I'm onto something, but or maybe it's somebody completely different and it takes the wind out of our sails. Who
Who
knows? It
knows?
could really be anything.
Yeah, this is what the excitement part of the tournament is all about. I'm just kind of irritated. I didn't want to. I wanted to see who is going to be in the tournament. That's a big deal. Who is going to be in this tournament? And then when you go, well, you're going to have to wait and see. It's kind
Yeah, right.
of.
You're like, is that what I signed up for?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
guess I'm doing it anyway. I mean, whether we like it or not, it's happening. So we'll have to wait and see, unfortunately, but hopefully it's worth the wait.
Hopefully.
All right, this is a rather easy question for me. What match of Blood and Guts are we most looking forward to? It's not even fucking close. I am fucking excited for the women's blood and guts
Yeah.
match. Like, you have no idea. Like, I am so fucking excited. It does suck the Queen Aminata got hurt, so she's
Mm.
out of it. So that sucks a little bit. But we get Mina, which is just as good, so can't really complain there. But yeah, I always just love because Tony's good at when he gives the women the spotlight, he gives them the spotlight. So I wouldn't be surprised, and I hope this main event's the show
Mm.
because I don't see why it wouldn't. And it's always just something about the women and the hardcore like stipulation matches. They just go all out. And
Mm.
I don't think I have ever seen a women's like and it's a weird way of kind of like hardcore, no DQ, like weapons s kind of matches. I guess we'll just say like the hardcore stipulation type of match, I guess is the only way I can really put it. I don't think I've ever seen a single bad women's like hardcore-ish esque match in
Mm.
AEW. They just rise to the occasion every time. And when the women involved are actively excited about a match like this, which I can imagine it's a little nerve-wracking. Going into a match like this, like could take years off your career. I get it. But the fact that the women in this match are actively excited to spill their blood and the other women's blood should tell you this is going to be special. Like, I am just so excited. I cannot wait to see what they can come up with. A little nervous for him, not going to lie, because this is really going to hurt, but it's going to be entertaining nonetheless. But yeah, this is I mean, granted, there's only what 3 matches on the card right now, but
Yeah.
it's not even close. The women's blood and guts is the one thing I'm most excited for, and the other two don't even come close.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna agree with you there. I think the women's blood and guts match is the one to look forward to the most because, like you said, when these women get these opportunities to get these no DQ hardcore matches in, they show up and they show out.
Hmm.
They really go all out when it comes to these matches, especially when you get veterans in there from that really excel in that style. Willow Nightingale really excels in the
Yeah.
hardcore style, and so does Sky Blue. They
Yeah.
really excel in this hardcore setting. Then you get someone like Tekla, who's a hard hitter.
Yeah.
You got a lot of formidable forces in there that are gonna make this match great. I think this is the match to look forward to the most is the women. The men's is okay too. I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
the night in general as because like the AEW product hasn't necessarily been bad, but like there hasn't been much to write home about.
You're not
Um
memorable.
yeah, nothing memorable and it's kind of not their own doing. I mean, they're without Will Ospreay, they're without Swerve, they're
Yeah.
without MJF for some time.
Jay White.
Jay White,
Jay White.
yeah, a lot of hard hitters, a lot of heavy hitters right there that are missing from AEW TV on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So the product has definitely suffered a little bit in my eyes, but I think it's still going to be a good show. Like you said, there's the men's and women's blood and guts matches that are obviously going to steal the show, but there's also Powerhouse Hobbs and Hangman Page. I believe is it no disqualification in that one
Um,
as well? I believe
False
that's
count anywhere?
yeah, false count anywhere. So
Yeah.
basically, yeah, no disqualification there. So that's another interesting. They're really trying to pack this show. So I'm interested in seeing what else they're going to be bringing. But for me, the high point is definitely going to be the women. I want to see the women go out there and as sick as it sounds, spill blood and guts, live up to the name.
Yeah, literally. And I think it's just the fact that I think it's just the excitement of the fact that we're finally getting a match like this because we really should have had this match like 2, 3 years ago, but injuries and stuff kind of derailed all the plans there. So it sucks that we had to wait this long, but I have a feeling that they're gonna make it very worth the wait.
Yeah.
Like I said, I am so fucking excited. Like it's
Yeah.
not even funny.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one. I'm interested in seeing how crazy they could get because remember they're still on TV. It's not like they're
Yep.
on pay-per-view where they could really go all out depending on the venue and where they're at and the restrictions that they
Sure.
have. Because remember
Commission.
we saw that happen with the last pay-per-view, how much that hampered the pay-per-view. But now they're in a TV setting, so they're definitely on a time crunch. that they can't really go over too crazy. I know AEW likes to do their overruns, but they can't
Yeah.
really go too crazy with it. So it's going to be interesting to see how the show is formatted. And this is one of the things that is like, well, it's important for AEW to knock this out of the park and make this happen and make it look good on TV, as they're only a 6-year-old company. So there's still a lot of growing pains there.
Yeah, and we're still dealing with some of that even like you said 6 years later, so it just happens, but I really don't expect this show to be bad. I honestly do expect it to be good. I'm not going to say like, "Oh my god, it's going to be the best like AEW Dynamite they've had in years." It's just like, what do you mean you can't say that? But I feel like it's going to be good. I'd be
Yeah.
very shocked if it was average. So, yeah, like I said, I cannot wait for this. I feel like they're really only going to do like maybe one more match, if that. But if it was only those three, I'm really not going to be upset about that because they're all going to get their like time to shine.
Right.
So I would much rather just keep it at three, but I doubt they will. They'll probably throw something in there
Yeah,
for
because like,
whatever reason.
how do you, with just 3 matches, how do you make up a 2 hour? I mean, you could do,
They get two and a half,
yeah, you could do
even
like,
more.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, or you could do like 45 minutes each blood and guts match, and then the rest goes to the Hangman and Powerhouse Hobbs match, but that would kind of be cutting it short too. So
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting to see how they actually pull this off. I mean, they've done
Yeah.
blood and guts on TV before, but they haven't done two
Oh,
in
and
one night.
I feel like you're gonna have to do them both one right after the other because it'd be kind of silly to like get the cage up and then
Right.
lower it and take it back up. So it's like I feel
Yeah.
like either if it were me, I would go in the order of you start with Hangman and Hobbs, and then you do the men's, and then you do the women's. I
Mm.
just don't see why you would put Hangman, especially when it's not Hangman and Joe. So it's not entirely the feud people are looking for. So there's no way that that should close the show. Like I'm
Mm.
sorry, there's no way. And the men's, like you said, the men's blood and guts is all right, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that the real story is the women. So it's
Mm.
like you have to have the main event that show. If they do not main event tomorrow night, I'm going to be mad, and I will
Yeah.
probably yell about it next week. So just make them the main event. I think they've earned it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Tony Khan, just make them the main event.
just listen to us for once, please. Anyway, now that we've given him his orders, so Mon's last comment was she loved CM Punk playing with the action figures Wade Barrett had a commentary on Raw.
Oh yeah, the LJN figures. Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that too after, because like that was during commercial break, and for some reason now, I don't know if this is happening in everybody in the States, but I pay the higher tier to not get advertisements on Netflix,
Mhm.
and I still
Yep.
get advertisements during Raw. Now everybody
Yeah, I love that.
outside of the United States doesn't get advertisements; they stay onto the show. So
Yeah.
we're missing golden stuff like this, and especially like they were talking about LA Knight was cutting a promo during the commercial break last night on Monday Night Raw, and then that got cut off right in the middle for something else, and this is stuff that we're missing throughout the show. So it's like it really really sucks.
Yeah, it's just I don't get it. It's just like I don't know how they can get around that loophole because if you spend the money, because I have the same exact one where I don't have ads
Right.
because that's why I spent the money because I'm like, I don't want to sit there and deal with ads. And yet you're still like, oh, we're still going to find a way to give you ads anyway. It's
Yeah,
like, then why am I
three
even paying
minute
the fucking
block of
money?
ads. Yeah, 3 minute block of
Yeah.
ads that you sit through, and I'm usually streaming, so that means I have to mute the stream and then talk and be entertaining, and that could be kind of difficult at times, So it's like, damn,
Yeah.
we're missing out on a lot of stuff. I miss the early days of the Netflix where they kept the camera on the arena and what was going on, and sometimes like the New Day would cut a promo or something like that. Like there would be an interview segment in the middle. I actually enjoyed that. I thought that was pretty cool. So I'm kind of bummed out that they stopped doing that. Well, they didn't stop doing it. They just stopped showing it.
Yeah. That's the corporate greed at its finest, unfortunately. It just like we said many times before, it just never seems to end. It's
Yeah.
just they always gotta find more to suck money out of your wallet.
That's what I'm saying, because I look at it and it's like it's commercial break after commercial break after commercial break now. It's crazy.
Never ends. It
It
just
just,
keeps going.
yeah, it's like, oh my God. I mean, I understand you have advertisers, but Jesus, can we stay with the action for at least 15 minutes?
Yeah, like again, it's capitalism. Go
Yeah.
figure. It's just it's great. I hate it. Anyway, before we go off on a tangent about that, that was all of Mom's questions and comments. So, Mom, thank you. We always appreciate it.
Thank you, Mom.
Let us move on to Mike's questions. He was kind of scaring me there a little bit. I was waiting for his questions to come through the Twitter, and I'm like, Mike, are you going to come through? Or are you just like making us sweat a little bit? But
Yeah.
he got his questions in. Everything's as it should be. All's right with the world. So his first question, funny enough, we literally just answered this earlier. Are we looking forward to the men's or the women's blood and guts match more? And also the same question for War Games. I mean, it's very. I mean, we already answered for blood and guts. Clearly, the women's match is where it's at.
Right.
War Games, though.
War Games is taking a little bit more time to shape up. They're just starting to get to the matches and building up the matches. We don't even know the full extent of the men's War Games match, because as of right now, it's only CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso on one team, and then you got Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, and Logan Paul on another team. So I don't know if they're gonna do a 4-on-4 War Games or a 5-on-5, but there's still somebody else, or maybe a potentially second person that needs to be involved on each side of the team. The women's one came together at the main event of last night's Monday Night Raw.
Chaos.
Yeah, that was just like, it was just one thing after another, especially like Io Sky comes out, she gets trampled on by Nia Jax and Lash Legend, who is a new duo to watch out for, and then all of a sudden Rhea Ripley. I wasn't expecting Rhea Ripley to come back.
Me neither.
I wasn't expecting her to be on the show, but what she did, it was almost like Cena went back out there. The place went crazy. She has that star power that's just
insane.
incredible. It's incredible, her star power. I mean, I was just watching a video on Twitter. Somebody posted, it was a photo op meet and greet to Rhea Ripley, and they had surprised this little girl. They kept her blindfolded and didn't reveal take off the blindfold until Rhea Ripley was standing behind her. And you see like this little girl overcome with emotion. She didn't want to let go of Rhea.
I don't blame her. I don't blame her. But,
she didn't even want to let go of Rhea, and like, it's the thing, like, you could tell even the dad was choked up, and Rhea hugged the dad, because like Rhea has that star power where she, like, people are looking up to her, you know. And she's single-handedly, I can't tell you how many times I've heard the phrase, I don't know anything about the WWE, I don't know anything about wrestling, but I do know who Rhea Ripley is. She has that star power.
I mean, if you have a TikTok, you definitely know who Rhea is, because she's even and it's so funny, even my like non-wrestling friends at work, I will see them going on their TikToks and whatever a break, and I'll just like look at the screen and I'm just like laughing to myself, because the Rhea shows up on their TikToks and they don't know really anything about wrestling. So yeah, she has wide mainstream appeal, and it's just crazy. It's just she just has the charisma, she has the look. And it's so funny, because if she would have been around way back in the day, we might not even really be having this conversation right now, because I don't think they would have known what to do with her, because she wouldn't have been the stereotypical woman.
Right.
Like, yeah, I mean, obviously we had the Chinas, and we had like the Jazzes, and we had like the like non-conforming kind of like woman's wrestler, but they were so few and far in between, because back then it was, oh no, she has to look pretty. No, she has to like have a certain look, and it would not have worked back then, which is sad. But it's just, I'm glad that we're finally at that point in wrestling where someone like Rhea is a mainstream star, because when I am also the kind of person who obviously clearly has tattoos all over the place, wears mainly like black, kind of has that like punk rock kind of aesthetic. I'm like, thank God that this would not have like been a thing back then, but it's just cool to see it now where it's just like, yeah, there are people like us out there that don't look like the stereotypical like girl, and people still love her for it. And it's
Yeah.
still just like a normal thing, and it's really cool to see because yeah, like I said, that wouldn't have been a thing back then, but I'm glad that we're finally at a place where that's the cool look. That's like what people want to look like. And it's like, yeah, because who knew, guys? Tattoos and muscles and shit are actually really fucking cool. Go figure. So,
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, that the War Games match is pretty cool. I'm really excited to see Lash Legend in the War Games match
oh yeah.
because she kind of came in here so far, like both her segments that she's been involved with since coming up to the main roster, she's kind of knocked it out of the park. Like she looks like a formidable force. Like she
Yeah.
is someone that you saw go from kind of green in the ring, kind of green into NXT to figuring out, oh, I have a leg up on the competition because I am also different than most women. I am athletic, I am tall, I am strong, I am
Yeah.
essentially bigger than most of the women on the roster. You know, she's pushing
Oh yeah.
6 feet, and
Yeah.
she's a collegiate all-star athlete, and she really looked like she belonged in that segment last night on Monday Night Raw, especially when she cold-cocked Io Sky and sent her to the shadow realm with that forearm. Oh my God. I think we all
Send her into the
collectively,
void.
yeah, I think we all collectively went, holy shit. Like, I don't know if it was Io selling or the actual move itself with the impact, but it was effective.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely was. And we also have to think this is the same woman that body pressed Otis of all people.
Very true.
So she's got the strength, she's got the look. Yeah, I agree that she definitely will fit in with this War Games match. It'll be interesting to see how they utilize her in this match. But yeah, I'm glad that they're finally remembering they can call people up from NXT because it feels like for a while it's been kind of like, okay, some of these people have been down here for God knows forever, and why are
Hmm.
they like not up on the main roster? Like Jordan Grace, why is Jordan Grace still not on the main roster?
Yeah.
Like, what's taking her so long? But I don't know. We don't have that kind of power. We just sit here and talk about it through a microphone. So it just be like that
Yeah,
sometimes.
we're just
But
giving our perspective as fans. Nothing too crazy. We don't consider ourselves
yeah,
experts or anything like that. Like I said,
God no.
we're just talking as fans.
Yeah. If we had that kind of knowledge and expertise, I don't think we'd be sitting here right now. Let's
For
be honest.
sure.
We'd be doing other things and whatnot. But no, we're just fans. So speaking of just being fans and having our subjective opinion, so obviously the PWI women's rankings came out for the year, and Mike would like to know: do we agree with the fact that Mercedes Monet was ranked number one in the rankings?
I mean, I can't
Hmm.
honestly, aside from Rhea Ripley, who we just talked about, in
Yeah,
terms of wrestling, like, there's nobody that's been hotter than Mercedes Monet. Take away the fact that she's winning all these belts, and some of these promotions are probably just giving her the belts because they realize if we give her the belt, that's star power for our promotion. But I
yeah,
mean, whatever happened, because remember, there was for the longest time when we talked about Mercedes Monet in AEW, we were like, where is it? Where is this greatness
yeah,
that we're used to seeing? Why is she just like phoning it in? And then something clicked. Something
yeah.
clicked where she just said, fuck it, I'm going to show everybody that I am the best women's wrestler in the world. I honestly can't hate the gimmick of her winning all these belts because she's deserving of the belts.
And
If
also because, well, and also because we liked it when Kenny did it, so you can't
yeah,
really say, oh, it was great when he did it, but it sucks when she does it. It's
right.
like you can't really have the double standard.
Yeah, and not only that, but like again, she's going out there, she's giving great performances every time she's out there, even when she's not really even wrestling. Like her promos, they're still the same standard Mercedes Mone kind of promo, but they have gotten slightly better. Her
Yeah.
involvement in segments has gotten slightly better. You see that last segment from last week's Dynamite, where there was that big pull apart brawl, and she thought about getting involved, and then she thought better of it, but it was too late
Yeah.
because Chris Statlander was already behind her and just clocked her clean. That's the type of thing Mercedes is willing to give a part of herself to put the segment over, to put the angle over.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but I'm glad that it clicked, and I do believe that she is deserving of that number one spot.
Yeah, I feel like the only person I would give it to was number 2. I would have given it to Toni Storm because I feel like when it comes to those two head to head, what the other excels at, the other one, it's always like it's like almost like black and white between those two, where
Mhm.
clearly if you had to put Mercedes and Tony into a promo battle, Tony would obliterate her in 5 seconds. Like it was not even fucking close. Like no one can really touch Tony on the mic
Right.
because she just goes off. Like I would be really shocked to think that those would be like scripted promos. They just let her say whatever she wants to say. So Tony's definitely got the leg up on the promo side of it. Wrestling on a good day, if you have them both at their best, I would take Mercedes over
Mhm.
Tony. That's not saying Tony's not great. She's great, but Mercedes is just that much better. And I feel like over the course of her career in general, obviously just outside of even just AEW and her career as a whole, I feel like Mercedes has had more memorable matches than Tony. And that's not to say Tony hasn't, because of course her stuff with Mariah May are still some of my favorite stuff,
Mhm.
like ever. It was just that great. But I think overall Mercedes is the better in-ring technician, so you give her the edge on that one. So it's like these two are just pretty much neck and neck when it comes to everything. And I feel like the only way we could probably give Tony that top spot is if you go off maybe based off of consistency.
Mhm.
And at that point, you're just splitting hairs. Like, that's
Yeah.
just getting, like, really down to it. But I feel like, kind of like what you mentioned earlier, where it took Mercedes a little bit to get going because for the first few months or so of her career in AEW, we're just like, why is she phoning in? Like, what are we doing here? This isn't the person that was so hyped up to come in here. Like, where is that Mercedes? And you said something clicked, and now finally we're getting what we should have had all along. And then when it comes to Tony, she's never really been off. She's never really had like an off moment, even when she didn't have the title, or even when she doesn't have the title, she's still being memorable. And it just goes to show you that I said it a million times before, she doesn't need a title to be great.
Mhm.
She's just that good. So I feel like if you would give it to Tony, I would just do it based off of consistency, maybe. But I also am not going to argue that Mercedes is the best this year, especially just the whole belt collector thing. And again, to some people, it's annoying, yes, but you also have to be like, okay, well, were you mad when Kenny did it?
Mhm.
Okay, and if you were mad that Kenny did it, then fine. I mean, can't really argue with you there, but you can't have that double standard of, well, I liked it when Kenny did it, but I don't like it when she does it.
Right.
Because that kind of reeks of, maybe a little bit of misogyny, some sexism there, but it is what it is. But yeah, you can't really say you liked his when he did it and not when she did it.
Right.
But yeah, it's not like she's going into these random promotions and like phoning it in to win these matches. She's at least giving an effort, so you can't fault her for that one. So yeah, I'm not mad that she got the number one spot. It's
No.
definitely well earned. Honestly, I feel like her and Tony were 1 and 1A at that point. It was just they're both
It's been a
just
tough
so good.
it's been a tough year, like in terms of being on top of women's wrestling, because it's been so good.
Yeah.
It's been a bright spot for AEW, and then you look on the other side of the aisle. We just got done talking about Rhea Ripley, but what about Io Sky? Io Sky
Yeah.
to me is the best. To me, like Io Sky kind of comes off as like better than most men on
Yeah.
the main roster. She's
Yeah.
just consistency and, you know, dependability in terms of putting on a good match and putting on a good performance and connecting with the crowd. It just speaks to how big women's wrestling is this year and the greatness that they have given us when it comes to women's wrestling. I mean, like I said, it's been a bright spot for AEW when you have people like Queen Aminata, Tekla,
Mhm.
Jamie Hayter, you know, Tony Storm. Like, they just consistently bring out the best women, which is kind of confusing as to why some people chose to not work for AEW and walk out because they were only given a 3-minute match.
Oh God, and it's funny because we have a question about that.
I didn't
That's
know we
actually
had a
Mike's.
question about that, but that's good that we do because
That's Mike's last question, so
uh,
we're gonna have some. I knew we were gonna have to talk about it, but we we couldn't have made it through this week's episode of All Things and not talk about that. So yeah, we definitely will talk about that, guys. Don't you worry. But yeah, it's choices. People make
choices.
choices, and sometimes they are not the smartest. But
Yeah, especially,
like I said,
but again, the point being is that if you're a women's wrestler right now, like, you want to be out there, you want to
yeah,
be showcasing your talent at any given opportunity, especially this year, because of the simple fact that women's wrestling is so hot and there's so many opportunities. You can't run a promotion right now and just have all men do all the work.
yeah,
You can't, that it's not going to work. That's
nope,
not going to work. You have to have female performers on there, actual good wrestlers too. You can't just march any old somebody off the street. No, people want to see good wrestling, and there's not a lot of talk about independent wrestling these days because everything is dominated obviously by WWE and
yeah,
AEW, but that's the best way to get noticed nowadays. You talk about like what Booker T is doing with Reality of Wrestling. You know, there's schools all over the place that you can go to perform anywhere from Florida to New Jersey. But like, if you're a women's wrestling performer, you want to take every opportunity that you can get because women's wrestling is a hot commodity right now.
yes, it sure is, and yeah, like I said, we will definitely go back to that topic of conversation shortly. But in the meantime, we have a couple more questions from Mike. So he knows that Cena obviously only has 3 dates left on his retirement tour,
hmm
but he was okay with him winning the IC title, as we also were. So does this shift the thought of Gunther winning the tournament to Sheamus now?
it would be if the Intercontinental Championship is a focal point. Like, if
Yeah.
the last match is the winner, you know, and the Intercontinental Champion, I would think it would shift to Sheamus, and I'm not particularly upset. You know,
No. No.
I think Sheamus has grown on me, and
Oh
I've
yeah.
come
Yeah.
to enjoy what Sheamus is doing and Sheamus's body of work. So I necessarily won't be upset. I just know that maybe the reaction from the internet community would probably be a little different. They're expecting a big name or a big angle, and I think originally I was going with Gunther to be John Cena's last opponent, but if this Intercontinental Championship is involved, that seems a little beneath Gunther at this point of his career. You know, that would be
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
downgrade. You know.
Yeah, it's just tough because it's like they can't really have it both ways.
Mm,
Is it a tournament to like give somebody new and upcoming a shot like it was supposed to, if I remember like the whole announcement video correctly, or is it for somebody to win the IC title out the door? So it's like, what are we doing with it? Because depending on which way you go, you could and probably should have two completely different types of wrestlers win. But I feel like now with Cena winning that title, it's going to clearly shift more towards, okay, well, who's going to win that title off him on the way out? Because again, I don't see them not having that title up for grabs in his last match. Because when else is he going to do it? He only has, like Mike said, 3 more dates. So I don't know. I feel like it gets a little flip-floppy, and it's just like, okay, well, if you were gonna have one plan, you should have just like, stuck to it. But
Mm.
clearly we're not gonna do that. So,
Yeah,
yeah, if that's what the focus of this tournament is gonna be now is the IC title, I would give it to Sheamus. I feel like he's more than earned it, and I feel like that's the one title that's eluded him.
yeah, that's the only
And
title that's preventing him from being a Grand Slam champion.
yeah, so make 2 Grand Slam champions in a span of a month, because why the hell not?
Yeah.
Why not? So yeah, I would agree if that's the focus they're gonna do, then give it to Gunther or give it to Sheamus. But I don't know. Like I said, it's just pick a lane. You cannot really have it both ways, because you can't have an up and coming guy beat him for that belt, because like you said, then the wrestling community is gonna be like, well, he wasn't deserving of that. It should have been insert name here. And it's just like, okay, well, what is it then? Is it mainly for Cena giving somebody a chance, or is it for the IC title? Like, you have to pick. And I feel like it's just going to end up being for the IC title. And if that's the case, just give it to Sheamus then.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. But it's gonna be interesting to see how this tournament shapes up. We're still
Yeah.
not even out of the first round yet, so we still got a lot to go.
Yeah, we got a ways away. So I don't know. Maybe Joe Henry's going to win it all. Maybe he'll just say it and it's just, it'll happen. But,
Mm.
no, I don't think that will be the case. But it'd be kind of funny if he did. But we'll see. All right, so we kind of talked about the women's division earlier, and Mike wants us to keep talking about that. So the women's tag division in WWE looks like it's starting to shape up, because you got the Kabuki Warriors, you got Charlotte and Alexa, you got Nia and Lash, Bailey and Lyra, Beef, Bab, and Michin. The question is, will WWE go through individual programs with the Kabuki Warriors in each team, or just push them all together in one match? Oh God, I hope it's not all together in one match, because
I'm kind of bummed they took the titles off Alexa and Charlotte.
yeah,
I thought they were fine on Alexa and Charlotte. I
yeah, I don't know
actually
why it was so short and
Yeah,
like,
like I would have, as to not hurt the Kabuki Warriors, I would have had a screwy finish last night, and I would have
yeah,
just had Lash and Nia come in and break up the match and cause a disqualification. That way it stays on Charlotte and Alexa, and the Kabuki Warriors don't take the L clean.
yeah,
Um, I would have did it that way because I don't I like Charlotte and Alexa as the tag team champions. I thought they elevated the titles, and these are titles that have been cursed, since their
yeah,
inception. And we every time something like this happens, everyone always points the finger and goes, well, WWE didn't want these titles in the first place. They just kind of did it
yeah.
to placate certain people. You know.
Oh, and
But
unfortunately, it kind of seems like it sometimes.
yeah, no,
Not gonna
it
lie.
definitely is that way. But the thing is, now you can make them an important part of the show. Like
Yeah,
you
they
can,
should.
yeah, like it wasn't again. Charlotte and Alexa were just working well together, really,
Mm-hmm.
really good together. So it was kind of like, and this seems to, and I can't say whether it's Triple H or whether it's TKO, but it just seems like belts nowadays are not staying on their respective holders long enough. Like
Yeah.
they undercut them. It happened, I feel, with Sami Zayn. No hate on Ilya Dragunov for being the U.S. champion,
Mhm.
but and then you see it in the women's division. We saw it with Chelsea and Julia, which I know we have a question about a little bit later on in the show. But like, it just seems like they're flip flopping titles like they used to, and that's kind of irritating to me.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I don't really like it either, because it's just like, how do you expect people to care about people as champions if you're
Right.
just gonna rip it off them in a couple weeks anyway? And yeah, I was a little annoyed that they took them off of Charlotte and Alexa so soon, because they had more of a story there. So I'm not sure why we sacrificed that for the fact of, oh, we gotta start war games, guys. It's like, okay, well, yeah, you could have done that without them losing the belts. So yeah, I wasn't really too thrilled about that one, but clearly they know better than we do, because we're here. But
Hmm.
yeah, I wasn't too thrilled either. But if they actually give a shit enough to make this division worth something, they can make these belts great. It's just a
Yeah.
matter of if they actually want to do it. Because, like I said, you have all those people online going, well, they didn't really want these in the first place. They just did this to shut some people up. And it's just like, yeah, it's kind of hard to argue with them when you see the booking of it sometimes, where it's like, it's almost like they actively hate having these belts in the division. So, hopefully they start to give a shit about them, especially since your competition that you clearly don't seem to care too much about, obviously, because counter programming and everything has belts. And I
Hmm.
guarantee you they're going to care about them quite a bit. So maybe that'll be the kick in the ass they need to actually give a shit, because now they have competition on the other side of, oh, look at our women's division with the tag belts. They look so much better than yours because we actually give a shit about them.
Yeah.
So you just know that WWE and TKO and them don't like to have their egos bruised. So probably for the sake of their pride, they're gonna maybe well, hopefully give a shit about them, or if not, they're just gonna continue to get called out about it. But
Mm.
that remains to be seen. But yeah, I still wish they would have kept them on Charlotte and Alexa. I felt that was way too quick.
Yeah,
But
and I like the Kabuki Warriors. I think the Kabuki
oh, I do
Warriors are
too.
great, but I mean, it's just like let's get
Didn't
some
need them.
stability, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's clearly not on the agenda list with the titles, or any of the titles really, is stability. So yeah, so no one's going to be breaking any more records anytime soon, clearly, with the way they're going. But I don't know. Maybe in the end it'll work out, but right now it's just kind of like, ugh, I don't know. So we touched on this a little bit earlier, but didn't actually answer it. Who do we think gets added to the men's War Games match?
Oh,
It's tough.
yeah, it is tough.
Um, I don't think they're going to put Drew in there, are they?
Nah, I don't think so. I don't think
I
so.
don't think so. Solo, maybe. I don't even know then. That's a bit of a stretch, possibly, but
It's
it
gonna
also, but the
be
problem is, it
so
also depends on if it's 4 or 5.
right, which I'm hoping it's five. Which
I
usually
hope so.
it's always been five, right?
Yeah, the more the merrier.
Right. So right now we got Cody, Jay, and CM Punk on one team. I am going to guess at least you got to get Roman in there.
I would think.
Roman's got to be in there. It sucks that Seth is hurt because what a crazy 5-man team that would have been. If like
Yeah.
Seth's
Oh yeah.
injury wasn't so bad, he can come back by the Survivor Series and get his revenge on Braun and Bronson. Uh, that would have been a crazy team to have those five on one team. But I do think it's going to be Roman, and I don't know who would be a fifth man.
I mean, I get, like I said, if Roman's in there, maybe you can throw Solo in there, but even then, it's just like kind of seen that already, and there really wouldn't be like an immediate, oh, that explains why he's in there. It'd be
Right.
more of like a convenience kind of thing where it's like, well, you know how to deal with him, so we'll just maybe that's it.
Hmm.
Maybe it's like, well, you've dealt with him before, so we'll just put you in here because you know how to deal with Roman, so maybe
Yeah.
that's it.
Roman will be one. And then you got to look on the other side. The other side only has Logan Paul, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed. So they would
Yeah.
have to. And then who the hell is going to want to work with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed? They've just come and destroyed everybody on the roster,
Yeah.
basically. So, like,
Yeah.
they're going to have a
Why I
tough
said
time.
Solo, maybe.
Yeah. I guess that would
Like,
be the only one that would work on that side.
yeah. Mainly because nothing else makes sense.
Huh.
Eh. And it's just a collective just sigh. I'm like, we don't really know because
I think what it is that we've been so spoiled by war games in
yeah,
terms of the greatness of war games and how great those matches have been that this one at least like the anticipation for it is a little bit down
yeah.
compared to most war games matches that you get excited for. This one is kind of down. Um
Well, I think it also doesn't help that on the other end of it, Blood and Guts is so like people are genuinely excited for it that it's
mhm.
kind of like taking some of the thunder away, maybe,
Mm,
whether they want to admit that or not, because let's be honest, Blood and Guts is essentially just war games.
Yeah.
Like, there's no bones about it. There's no, like, anybody who doesn't think that's, like, fooling themselves. So when you have, comparatively, the men's, I mean, of course, I'm just gonna say that the women's Blood and Guts is just gonna blow everything else out of the water. Like, I don't, like in interest wise, like anticipation wise, the women's Blood and Guts has no competition. Like, not even close. Like, women's war games on WWE, yeah, okay, whatever. Men's, sure. It's just like, I think, at least right now, anticipation wise, AEW's got the edge on that with Blood and Guts.
Yeah.
Just that's just how it is. So I feel like maybe that's a byproduct of why there isn't as much interest with war games, maybe, is because more people are interested in Blood and Guts, but that's just my guess. That's just my theory.
You know what's funny is that if you're like WWE, you're gonna look at what AEW's doing. They're the ones throwing their first out there. You know, Blood and Guts comes before War Games, so then that gives you the opportunity to look at what they do and say, okay, this is what we have to go up against. This is what
yeah,
we have to outdo. So in that sense, WWE kind of has the leg up because they're going on last. You know, they're
yeah,
already seeing what the competition has to offer, and they can determine what they can do best to outdo their competition. But it's kind of tough because AEW is willing to take those risks physically. You know,
yeah.
they're willing to go to the dangerous routes of bringing in
The
glass
blood.
shards and actual blood and guts. You know, they're not
Yeah.
afraid to go there.
And WWE
WWE,
won't.
yeah, WWE is a little apprehensive to go there. Not saying that that necessarily is a bad thing, but there is a difference. You know, there is a difference
Yeah.
in you're gonna get something one side that you're not gonna get on the other side. That's gonna differentiate the two. But again, being that Blood and Guts is tomorrow. And well, today, if you're listening to the podcast on Wednesday, and then later on in the month is War Games. WWE kind of has the leg up because they could look at what Blood and Guts does and say, okay, this is what we have to contend with, this is what we have to outdo, and this is how we're going to do it. But that's all dependent on how they look at things.
Yeah, and I think the big thing is too is that WWE can't let their ego get in the way because they could very easily go, well, yeah, I mean, like, Blood and Guts was good, but we don't need to change anything. What we've got's fine. Which could work if that's actually true.
Mm,
Because if it is true and people are like, oh, wow, that was like really fucking fantastic, that just like blew Blood and Guts out of the water, fine, then okay, good. You rested on your laurels and it paid off, but there's also that chance of you not wanting to change anything, and then all of a sudden Survivor or War Games comes and goes, and people are like, okay, well, Blood and Guts is still better. Like, that could happen.
mm-hmm.
There's a very good chance that could happen. So it's just a matter of, like you said, watching Blood and Guts, seeing what happens, and then hopefully making the adjustments necessary, or resting on the fact of, oh, we don't need to change anything, everything's fine. Then we'll see if that pays off. But it should hopefully be a good month of uh, War Games and Blood and Guts anyway, but we'll see how the competition goes.
I'm feeling very spoiled as a wrestling fan.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We got a bunch of everything.
Yeah.
We got pretty much what we all could want out of these kind of matches.
Yeah.
So it's just up to them to deliver, which I'm sure they will. I don't really think any of these matches are going to be duds. If they will, I'd be very shocked.
Definitely.
Yeah, right. So this is the question you kind of alluded to earlier. What was the biggest upset of the week? Cena over Dom, the Kabuki Warriors over Bliss and Flair, or Chelsea over Julia?
Uh
That's a tough one.
Now
That's a toughie.
what the biggest upset?
Yeah, what was the biggest upset out of the three of those?
I would say the Kabuki Warriors and Charlotte and Alexa, only because
Yeah.
like the the Dom Cena thing you could see coming a mile away, and you see Cena becoming the Grand Slam champion. The Julia and Chelsea thing, like nobody expected. But here's the thing: I think unless you're a hardcore Julia fan, or a
Hmm.
hardcore anti like WWE like logic, nobody's really mad that Chelsea won. I'm just kind of bummed out
Yeah.
because it's like you could have had a good match. You didn't have to do
Yeah.
a fuck finish. So I'm like interested in learning why they went about that route to take the belt off of Julia in a match that lasted 1 minute. I think
Yeah,
that
because they didn't really do her any favors during this reign, let's be honest.
they
Because,
did nothing. They did nothing.
yeah,
I
of
think
all
that's what
people,
it
too.
is too. Yeah, I think that's what it is too. Because when Charlotte and Alexa took on the Kabuki Warriors, that was their sixth title defense. You
Yeah.
know, so they were actually doing work with the titles in the small amount of time that they had the titles. They were defending the titles. They were fighting
Mhm.
champions. So I think that's why it was more surprising that they ended up losing the titles to the Kabuki Warriors, because it's like, well, there's nothing really wrong with this title reign. There's still more that we can do. You know, if
Yeah.
it was on a pay-per-view or PLE rather, then I might have could have seen it. But on a random episode of Raw, a little strange.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd have to agree with you because I feel like that, yeah, Chelsea winning was a shock, but it was also kind of like you could kind of feel the collective thank fucking God. Like,
Mhm.
which is so sad to say because Julia is fucking fantastic. And the fact that they did fuck all with her in this title reign, it makes my head hurt.
Yeah.
Because it's like you kind of just reduced Julia to somebody that the people don't care about, which
Hmm.
is so fucking wild to me. Of all people, Julia, like the same one who was literally neck and neck on par with Stephanie Vicaire in NXT. And both of those two are going in complete opposite trajectories right now. Like it's just wild to me. Like how did you fuck Julia up that quick, that bad? Like I don't even just don't even get me started. It's just it's fucking stupid. I don't know why they have done the things they've done, but so unfortunately for that reason alone, yes, it was shocking that Chelsea won, but it was also kind of like people weren't too, like you said, upset about it because that reign was just fucking whack from the start.
Right.
Um yeah, I wanted Charlotte and Alexa to have more time with it, man. Like it's still gonna bum me out for a while. Like you could have done so much more with it and
You know what it is too? It was actually making Charlotte Flair interesting. You know, we
yeah,
were it
people
was
have liked her for
yeah.
this.
It wasn't the same old, oh, here's Charlotte going after the title, shoehorning her way into the main event picture. You know,
Yeah,
she was actually enjoying what she was doing, and people were enjoying seeing her as a tag team champion.
yeah. And people could tell that she was enjoying it, and by default, if she was enjoying it, people were enjoying it too. It wasn't like she was actively phoning it in like we've seen before because it's just like, okay, I'm just gonna go through the motions because I'm not really like, having fun, but it's my job. It's like, no, she's actually having fun. And when the wrestlers are having fun, it will translate into the crowd.
Right.
And it's just sad that that got cut short. So hopefully this isn't the end of them as a team. Hopefully they can still maybe they'll win them right back. Who knows? If they do, that's going to be really fucking stupid though because why couldn't you just kept them on them in the first place? But I don't know. It's just doesn't make any sense to me. But again, that's why we have the microphones here, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. So I didn't hear this, so this is going to be interesting. So there's been a rumor going around that the Saudi Wealth Fund might be interested in buying Warner Brothers Discovery. So would Tony Khan accept that blood-soaked money or take the high ground and move the show off of Max?
He's got no other option.
Yeah, because it's tough because it's like you can take the moral high ground, which, yeah, would endear yourself better to the fans, but where else are they going to go?
Yeah,
Which
you
sucks.
saw how difficult it was for them to get this deal from Warner Brothers. How like
Yeah.
there was back and forth and back and forth. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't happen, maybe they'll go somewhere else. And look at the final hour, that's what they got. But it
Yeah.
took it was a long road to get there. It wasn't easy pickings, you know. They didn't really have a lot of options to go. So I mean, if you want to keep your program on TV, I mean, like Mike said, this is just a rumor. It's not necessarily something that's gonna prove to be true.
I hope
Uh,
it doesn't.
yeah, but I mean, it just what happens to AEW at this point?
I don't know. It's just tough because you've already seen how pissed people got when WWE took the blood soak money. If AEW does it, oh boy, it's gonna be I'm not gonna immediately say something you can't recover from, but the amount of damage control they'd have to do is no thank you. I
Yeah,
would not
I
wish that
mean,
PR nightmare on my worst enemy.
yeah, I mean, it's just,
Money.
yeah, it's money, you know, and it's business, you know, like
Capitalism.
more morality and business, they don't really go together. Like it's like
No.
oil and water. It just doesn't mix.
Yeah.
You know, so like I don't know. Again, it's not like he can go to Amazon and let me put my programming here,
Not much
or
better.
yeah, or something like that. He definitely can't go to Netflix. You know,
Yeah.
if there's no TBS and TNT, who if Fox maybe they can get on
Mm,
Fox and take SmackDown's old spot on Fridays. Um,
maybe.
but yeah, I mean, I look at how long and how hard the road it was for them to get this Warner Brothers Discovery deal this go around. That
Yeah.
if you take that out or you sell it to the Saudis, um, you're back at square one. You know, trying to find a new home for your programming. So
Yeah.
safe bet is, hey, if they're offering, take the money.
Which which I'm hoping that's not the case, because yeah. I just don't want to see that happen. So hopefully it's just a rumor and that's that and it doesn't actually come to fruition,
Yeah.
because oh boy. Like I said, that PR nightmare is going to be a mess. So hopefully that just stays as a question that Mike asks and we don't have to talk about it ever again. But I also wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, because again, money rules everything and it sucks.
Yep.
It's fucking disgusting, but here we are. All right, so this is this is the question I think a lot of our listeners probably wanted us to talk about, because, well, both of it actually, both facets of it, because it's done nothing but dominate wrestling Twitter lately. That's for damn sure. Who has had a worse week, Ridge Holland or Nixon Newell? Mm.
I don't know. I feel bad for Rich Holland. He can't even pay his bills right now. Um
Yeah, that okay. So I mean, when it comes to that, that whole thing seemed so odd to me, because I get his situation with WWE, if that's true, is definitely like sucks.
yeah.
That's WWE releasing people in a nutshell. It's never going to be an ideal time. I mean, you know what? At least they paid for his surgery, which is like, yeah, that's the least he could do. But it's also not a surprise that that's all they gave him. But the whole GoFundMe thing, and people were making arguments, and it was also kind of hard to argue with them, where they were like, he's worked for this company for how many years now? Well, it's like 5 or 7 years. It's been a while. And now all of a sudden you can't pay your bills. So it's almost like, what have you been doing with that money that you've been earning for however long, that
Yeah.
now all of a sudden this is going to be an issue? So I can see why people weren't necessarily happy about that thing like existing. And then on top of that, for him to come out and be like, I didn't even know that this was a thing, it's just like, dude, how did you not know? Like, it kind of is a little iffy where you have a phone that has Wi-Fi that is connected to Twitter. So why did it take you so long to realize that that was a thing? So it's kind of like, not that people don't believe you, but it's not a good look, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
So that's already a mess in and of itself. And then the whole fucking thing with Nixon and Miranda, oh boy, just
That
uh
is still dominating, like any facet of wrestling news that I see is still about
Yeah.
whatever Nixon Newell and Miranda have to say about the situation. Which is
And
like the situation, like I mean,
it's insane because we're still even now getting, well, this is what supposedly happened, and then one side saying no, that actually didn't happen, and the other side saying no, no, it didn't happen, and it's just like, okay, well, what actually fucking happened then? Because it was like first reported that they walked out, and then they're saying no, we didn't walk out, it was a mutual thing, it wasn't as like big of a deal as it was, and then it was, well, Danielson was even unhappy with how they were treated in their, last match, whatever. And then it turned into, well, we never talked to Bryan Danielson. So it's like, what is fucking going on? What is fucking going on? Like,
this is the byproduct of your quote unquote boss, Tony Khan, not being a boss. This is a
yeah,
situation you put your foot down and you show people, who's the head honcho. I mean, I hate
yeah,
to make this thing, but like everybody knew Vince McMahon was the boss. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And
yeah,
everybody knew Vince McMahon's word was law, you know?
yeah. You weren't going against it.
Exactly. You weren't going against it. He was the final say in everything. That's what Tony Khan has to be. He has to be the final say in everything, and he has to take out the good feelings and I don't want to hurt this person's feelings. No, you're the boss. You're the
Yeah,
boss. So if you don't want something to go down, you put your foot down and say, I don't want it to go down this way. And that's the
yeah,
way it's gonna be. He just too much of the handshakes and hugs and oh my god, I'm so happy you're here and oh my god, you're the greatest to ever like it's just like Tony Khan needs
yeah.
to be a boss and say, well, this is the situation. You got you don't have enough time to go out there and really show what you can do, but we're going to give you more opportunities. We just need you to take this one on the chin where you do these 3 to 5 minutes and you don't end up getting the win because honestly, like Nixon Newell has no stock to her name. Tegan
Not
Knox did
anymore.
not like Tegan Knox did nothing.
Mm-mm.
Nothing. You're starting from the ground up.
Which is wild.
Any opportunity you get from AEW at this point is better than whatever you were getting at WWE sitting and catering. You know?
Yeah, and it's like what, I don't know what they were thinking because how many people that are in big positions right now in the main roster scene or whatever with AEW or in big like high profile storylines and whatever started as people who lost their first one or two matches
Yeah.
and then went on to actually get signed. Like the biggest one obviously at the top of my head I can think of right now is Willa Nightingale
Yeah,
of all
Willow, yeah.
people. Like, and it's just so insane to me, like, the whole butterfly effect of Nixon Newell's career is most likely going to be studied at some point. Like, it's got to be like a Dark Side of the Ring episode just waiting to happen because it's just like this was the same woman who was supposed to win the Mae Young Classic in 20, I think it was 17, if I remember correctly,
Mm-hmm.
the second one. So that means she would have beat people like Rhea Ripley. She would have beat people like Tony Storm and Io Sky. And it sucked at the time, and it's like you rooted for her because you felt bad because she should have had such a different career than she ended up having.
Mm-hmm.
Or to then turn into next to nothing, to then getting released, to then having no opportunities, barely any fucking opportunities
Yeah.
outside of the, which is like, what the hell's going on then? Because it's not like she can't wrestle. She's great in the ring. So it's almost just like, what were we not seeing that was preventing her from getting these like opportunities? Was it like people were like jittery about the injury, which I can understand.
Mm-hmm.
That you go through those kind of injuries back to back. I can understand why some indie like promoters would be a little skittish. I get that. But it's also like if she's good in the ring, that should make up for it. So it kind of makes you kind of look a little bit and like, hmm, is this like a character kind of thing? Potentially. And then you see her girlfriend, and then you see the just say it. Brain-dead opinions she's had on a couple different things lately on Instagram and whatnot. So not entirely helping her case. Could
Yeah.
it be possibly the girlfriend rubbing off on her? Could it be Miranda kind of getting in her ear a little bit? Most likely. I mean, you kind of have to put two and two together. So it's just God damn, it's just a shame
Yeah,
because
and
she's
like
good.
the thing is, like Nixon Newell says, "This is my last year in wrestling." She says that. That's what she says.
Yeah.
It's her last year.
Yeah.
What the hell are you gonna do? It's not like you're like 50 years old and you could retire. And like,
Yeah.
are you gonna live in? Do you even have, the proper citizenship to stay in the United States? Like,
Yeah.
and what are you gonna do? What is your plan?
And if this was your last year in wrestling, you don't think you would have tried to not burn the bridge
Yeah,
of
yeah.
the biggest chance you had because your girlfriend was being pissy, I guess.
Because
Which again,
guaranteed, like AEW could use them down the line.
oh, absolutely. Like, absolutely. You don't think they could have brought them in for more tag stuff?
Yeah.
Or hell, even if you take Miranda out of the picture, you still could have used Nixon for like singles stuff. She's a good wrestler. It's just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, even if you're, I don't know, maybe her knowing in the back of her head, yeah, this is my last year in wrestling. Maybe she didn't want to go with AEW. Who knows? Maybe she just is. Again, this is all speculation, so let's not like just assume that this is the case. But maybe it's just like she's already halfway out the door at this
Right.
point mentally. So it's like,
But
well, I don't want to stay with AEW, but it's also just like, okay, but maybe if you got the chance with AEW, maybe it would have reinvigorated your love for wrestling and it would have been like, oh, well, actually, I don't want it to be my last year. Maybe I want to keep going for another 5, 10, whatever so years. But you're never going to know that now because I don't think they're going to want to deal with you anymore. Because even if, again, you kind of have to go off of what both sides said and it seemed like it was mutual and there was no bridges burned or whatever. Yeah, the bridges might not be burned with Tony Khan, but there may be some bridges burned or some hard feelings with Tony Khan's employees. Because there were some people speaking out about this. I mean, Taya Valkyrie was the one I saw where she's like, I don't give a shit what you do. You just take those 3 minutes and make the most out of it because I've been in this business for how many years and that's how you get your starts or how you get your chances is you make the most of the time you have. So clearly there are some people in the locker room that were probably not too thrilled with those two and how they acted. Megan Bayne being one of them. They said if you go back and watch that match with Megan and Marina and those two on Collision, they said that frustration on her face is genuine frustration because they were even trying to move things around and, make their own decisions about that match even then on their first fucking match. It's like, guys, it's your first fucking match. You really don't have a say in pretty much anything. If they want you to get destroyed by Megan and Marina, you're gonna get fucking destroyed. That's just how it is. That's just how it's gonna go.
And I can
And if you're so
understand.
pissed off about it,
No, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, I was
It's
just
just
gonna
like if
say
you.
we can't get this right.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I could understand if this was in the WWE, this was a situation that you were dealt with and you're getting squashed, and then you're gonna be like, well,
Yeah.
this is WWE, this is not good at all, getting squashed constantly. But like you said earlier, how many people have gotten squashed and lost their first couple outings in AEW and still get brought back? They can still bring you back. You have so much leeway in AEW.
That was your tryout.
What's that?
That was your tryout. That was essentially your tryout.
Yeah.
And you got fucking greedy over it. Over what? 3 minutes? Like, come on.
I don't know. I mean, it just doesn't make
For
sense.
someone who's been in the business that long, Tegan Nixon should know that how this works. Like, it's not like you're some up and comer, new to the scene. I don't really know how the ins and outs of like wrestling works. You should fucking know by now what you signed up for when you showed up. Like, that's it. Like, and it's a shame because I like Nixon. She's great, but it's also just like, what are you fucking doing right now? Like, you're being stupid. Like, you had a golden opportunity and you just you couldn't see the forest for the trees. And it's just like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, if you're going to let your egos and stuff get in the way, then no one can stop you. Like, if you're going to do it, do it. Just don't be surprised when nobody else wants to work with you for the last year of your career, which is a shame. Again, it's just the trajectory of her career is just astounding. It's just wild.
Yeah.
Like, how different would things have been if she wouldn't have gotten hurt? That's pretty much it. It's not even a matter of if she lived up to the hype. That's not the case. She had all the hype in the world going into the Mae Young Classics. It pretty much boils down to what the hell would have happened if she hadn't gotten hurt. That's it. And it's just a shame that it's like, we're obviously never going to know that, but it's just where she is now is kind of disheartening, to say the least.
Yeah, she's on Twitch yelling about what's been going on when, this is something, you should have handled as an adult.
Yeah, and clearly we haven't gotten there, so it's just fucking wild. It's just fucking wild. It just keeps going and it never ends.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that is all of Mike's questions. So Mike, thank you. We always appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, so I have to give this to you because you said we have an extra question.
Yeah, we actually have
away from our usual.
Yeah, we actually have a question that came in during one of our Twitch streams. For those of you that don't know, I stream on Twitch. I do watch-alongs for all AEW and WWE programming on TV every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And they wanted to ask a question for the podcast, and they did in the chat. And this is a fun one that I'm surprised we haven't had the chance to do so in the past. They wanted us to book pay-per-view between WWE versus AEW, and how many matches and what would the matches be on this card. So this is kind of a thinker. This really had me thinking, because we all know WWE PLEs and AEW pay-per-views are two polar opposite things. So the way I thought about it for me was, I'm not a fan of pay-per-views with a lot of matches on them. That's the one thing I dislike about AEW the most, is that each pay-per-view has 13 or 14 matches on it, and it's 4.5 hours long. You don't get done till 12:30 at night. So I wanted to keep this relatively small, so I went with 7 matches.
All right, I'll give you those.
All right, I went with 7 matches, and one of the high-ranking matchups that I definitely wanted to see was Mercedes Mone versus Io Sky.
Oh, you took my match. That's what I was gonna say.
That was your one match?
Well, not my one, but that was one of them. God damn it. All right, I'll give it to you. But that was one of them. That was one of the ones I came up with.
I mean, it's the best of the best. You got the best women's wrestler in WWE versus the best women's wrestler in AEW. I just think that would be fun to see. I had a lot of women's matches floating around in my head. Rhea Ripley versus Chris Statlander.
Will you stop taking my fucking matches? That was literally what oh my god, seriously. Oh, am I just gonna give you this? I think I might just have to give you this question, because those are the 2 top matches I had too. I'm not even joking. That's not even a lie. Wow. Those were the 2 that instantly came to my head. God damn it.
Would also have to throw the Usos versus the Young Bucks.
All right, I'll give you that one, because now I have to think of some other. I have to think of some other.
I'm gonna leave it up to you. I dropped 3 on you.
Oh God. So I have to come up with the other 4. Do we want to collab on one?
Well, I mean, we could collab. I just want to give you space to drop your. I don't want this to be one-sided, you know.
I'm trying to think now, though. Christ. Well, I feel like. Can we do triple threats?
Sure.
I feel like we could do triple threats, sure. Because I can't pick between the two from AEW, but I would like to see Stephanie Vaquer, Jamie Hayter, and Tekla go at
Ooh.
it. Yeah, see, I can come up. I got some. I got some ideas. I literally could not pick between Jamie and Tekla. It's just both are just so hard hitting and so Stephanie that I'm like, you have to put all three of them in. Yeah,
Right.
you just have to do it. Like, that's not even a thing. I feel like I feel like most of these kind of like come up with cards and whatever, almost just like selfishly, this is what I'd want to see. But I also feel like these two styles would work really well. I'd like to see Swerve and Aleister Black go at it
Mm.
because I feel like their styles are kind of similar, but they do it in a different way. They're both pretty like hard strikers, but again in different ways. I also can't even like explain it, but I feel like those two I think would work really well together. I think that'd be pretty fucking fun. Um so that's two. So I feel like do we need to collab on one? I think we should collab on one.
Okay.
So what do we think? What should
All
we
right.
do? We
All
gotta
right.
have Osprey in there somewhere.
You gotta have Osprey in there. You know, Osprey has always had that war of words with Rollins on Twitter about who makes the most money and whether
Oh,
5-star matches matter. You know, so when
that
you,
would be the next Rollins Punk, really.
yeah, yeah.
It would be.
So
Oof.
yeah,
Put those
I would kind of
put them
have
in a
to
steel
go.
cage.
Yeah, I would
Steel
have to
cage.
go with Rollins and Osprey.
Yeah.
I think that would
Put
be
them
good.
throw them in a steel cage too, just because we can.
Yeah, why the hell not?
They hate each other, so sure, they'll kill each other for the sake of entertainment. So we'll go with that. And then hmm. I feel like you gotta get Roman or Cody in there, but it's also a matter of who the hell do you put against them though.
Mm, has to be high up on the card. Cody, who would he work best with? I wouldn't put him up against Mox. I would kind of keep Mox off.
Switchblade?
Mm,
I think it could work.
yeah, that could work.
I think just the styles could definitely mingle very well on that one. Because I mean, you can't really say Cody and Hangman because I feel like that's kind of a cop out answer.
Mm,
Yeah, well, we can just say Cody and Switchblade, and then got to give somebody to Roman. But I feel like again, if you just say Moxley automatically, that's kind of a oh well, of course because of Shield, blah blah blah, whatever. But I feel like for that sake, it would be interesting to see Moxley, not Dean Ambrose, go against Roman Reigns and how different that would be.
mm.
So I feel like that actually wouldn't be as much of a cop out as I think people would think. So I could see that going on because you honestly wouldn't even need like the whole Shield thing as like a backdrop. It's just the two of those going at it would be very intriguing, I think, just off of
Yeah,
them
because
alone.
supposedly they're very close with each
Yeah,
other.
exactly. So the chemistry would be there.
Yeah. So that would definitely be something I would like to see. Um how many do we have so far? What was that? 6?
Think that yeah, because we got Mercedes and EO, Rhea and Stad. But I'm still mad you picked that one because that one was like my star one. What else did we pick? We did Alistair and Swerve, and then
uh,
Cody and Switch, Osprey and Rollins,
Osprey Rollins.
Roman Mox. So
Hmm.
that's 6.
So what
Are we
would be?
forgetting one more, or did we have short-term memory? I don't think we missed one.
No, I don't think.
I feel like we have to put Tony Storm in there, but I'm trying to think of who would work well with Tony. Oh, Tony and Asuka, just off the character work
Yes.
alone.
Yes.
That'd be fucking insane. Fucking
Yes.
wild. There we go.
That right there
See?
sold me on. Right there, you said Oscar, and that makes perfect sense. Oscar and Tony.
See. All right, there we go. So hopefully that card lives up to the standard of the question. So hopefully we didn't disappoint
Yes.
them at all.
That
But
came
I think it's
from
pretty good.
That came from Slifer, who is in our Twitch chat and wanted to drop a question for the podcast. So
Now,
thank you once
Slifer,
again,
hopefully we live.
Slifer.
Yeah, thank you. Hopefully that's a good card you'd pay money for. I think that's pretty much the gauge right there. If Slifer wouldn't pay money for it, then I think we failed. But I think it'd be pretty tough not to buy that pay-per-view. Just saying.
Yeah, we would probably make a killing off that pay-per-view.
Oh, we would. We'd never have to make another episode ever again. We could retire.
All
But
right.
that's what happens when you give us the pencil. We can do some things.
Right? Nobody wants to give us the pencil. They keep us
No.
tucked away on the internet doing this podcast.
We're too powerful. They know why.
Yeah, we would change the game.
Yeah, we would, and they wouldn't like it. So.
Oh man. All right. Do you have any more questions?
No, I think that's all of them.
Wow, we did all of the questions. A lot of great questions tonight. A lot of various topics to discuss. Everybody wants to know about war games. We got some AEW questions in there. We got a great question about the WWE versus AEW pay-per-view dream scenario, which I'm surprised we never even discussed beforehand. You know, like that seems like a typical question you would ask a wrestling podcast right off the bat. So once again, thank you to Slifer for dropping that question for us to discuss on the show here. That was a lot of fun to do.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you guys for always participating in the podcast and helping us grow this show. For those of you that don't know, if you would like to ask a question for the podcast, there's various ways you can do it. Every Monday afternoon, I post up the tweet on our official Twitter account at Ringside Rundown, asking you guys to send in questions for us to answer on the podcast. And it's usually Monday afternoon. It's the pinned tweet. All you got to do is just drop your question in the replies and we'll definitely answer on the podcast. Or you can head over to our official Discord server. In our Discord server, we have a channel for podcast questions that you can drop your question in the description of the podcast on any platform. When you see the description, you will also see a link to our Discord server where you can join. Just click the green check mark so we know that you're a human and not a bot, and then you get the whole thing opened up to you. And there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do in the Discord, including asking questions for the podcast. And where else can you send in questions? You can ask me questions when I'm doing my live streaming on Twitch. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday when there's WWE and AEW programming on TV. I am doing live watch-alongs with other wrestling fans, and we're talking wrestling, watching the show, having a great time. So once again, head over to Twitch. If you have a Twitch account, it's twitch.tv/ringside rundown. And like I said, go over to our social media, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. It's at Ringside Rundown. You can ask us questions there for the podcast and also get links to the podcast. This podcast is available on all platforms, Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Audible, wherever you listen to podcasts, this podcast is available. All you got to do is search Ringside Rundown and hit the follow or subscribe button, whatever the platform asks of you. If you do not have a link on the platform of your choosing, just let us know. We will make that happen and we will give you a link on a silver platter. But the caveat is that you have to give us back the silver platter, because originally they were going to put Shay's mom in Blood and Guts, but they thought, man, she's too crazy. We can't have her in Blood and Guts. She would actually invoke a lot of blood and a lot of guts. So Shay's mom is a dangerous warrior. You want to give her back her silver platter. It's her prized possession. So give it back to her once you use it with the link of your platform of choosing. And like I said, follow me on Twitch, at Ringside Rundown on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Shay, where can they get in touch with you?
You can find me on my wrestling Twitter at ShayRingside_, just like Eric's name, except I copied the homework and it's my name now instead.
Yep, she stole my gimmick.
Yeah, you got the better gimmick though. I'm like just the one trying to find it, but
she stole my
you're
gimmick.
the OG.
Yeah, well, I do what I can. As far as next week's episode goes, I think next week's episode is it time for Full Gear? When's Full Gear? Full Gear is
pull it up.
I think the 18th. I want to. No, not the 18th. It wouldn't.
22nd.
22nd. So we still have.
So yeah. Or no, it will be next week's predictions. Yeah, it'll
Yeah,
be
it will
that
be.
following Saturday.
Yeah, it will be. So next week we're gonna have a full rundown of AEW Full Gear. We're probably also going to be talking about Blood and Guts that is going to be happening today, because this podcast is going to drop on Wednesday. So you'll be seeing Blood and Guts later on tonight. Hopefully you join me on Twitch, twitch.tv/ringside rundown at 8:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got 2 Blood and Guts matches, 2 rings, 1 solid steel cage, 1 for the women, 1 for the men. It's going to be a grand old time. I can't wait.
It can be chaos. Just chaos.
It's going to be a lot of fun. But thank you guys so much for listening to this episode and listening to everything that we have going on. This is episode 181. 181. We've done 181 episodes.
Doesn't feel like it though, really.
No,
just flies by.
It does. It really does. But that's because I have a great partner to work with. So I am eternally grateful.
No, I have a good partner, but it's okay.
All right.
I have a great partner.
All right, stop it. I'm blushing.
I think we both are right now. I think it's time to go.
Yeah, I think it's time to get done here, wrap it up. So for Shay Hickson, my name is Erik Vasquez. Thank you for joining us on the Ringside Rundown podcast, and we'll catch you on the next one, guys. Take care.
See you later, guys.